Okay, everybody, welcome to Autoimmune Rehab. And today we have a pretty interesting interview for you today. Like I hope they always are, but this one is pretty intriguing. We're going to be talking about some different things. We're going to be talking about things, including things like why could cancer potentially be an autoimmune condition, as well as some different aspects of energy frequency and all kinds of stuff. So today I'm happy to welcome to my podcast Dr. Neja Zupan, and hopefully I've gotten that pronounced correctly. So welcome, and why don't you start off by telling us a little bit about who you are?
Thank you, Anna Laura, to invite me to your podcast. And I really want to greet all the listeners of your podcast. So everything what I was going through already started when I was more or less born. So in first few years, let's say 2-3 years, everything started. And of course, allopathic medicine didn't have an answers. So at the age of 8, I started already to go in a different direction, and I have fallen. And I had a quite serious injury, but I was screaming at home that I don't want to go to the allopathic medicine because I was so frequently there that I just didn't want to go there anymore. This was the first time that I remember that I really rejected going there, and my mother somehow put together the injury because it was about a cut of 3-4 centimeters and the skin was falling down, and she somehow put this together. And at the age of 11, I remember that I really screamed again at home that I don't want to go to the allopathic medicine for another injection against allergies, because these allergies was they were almost killing me. I had at that time tablets, so like pills, sprays to inhale that I didn't is it esophagate myself.
Yep, suffocate yourself, yeah.
Yeah. I had different creams because I was all in bumps on my skin, and I had corticosteroids for my nose, for my eyes, everything, and injections. Each I don't know, but it was about each 6 months I went to the medical doctor. They gave me injection, but to lessen symptoms that I was confronted with. But at the age of 11, I remember that again I was screaming at home that I don't want to go anymore to the doctors. And somehow when I look back now, in that context, I see my mother and father really as a courageous, that they didn't forced me to go there, because they saw that somehow this didn't help at all, and at the age of 14, I perceived in school, when I was taking these drugs, pills, that I got really sleepy and like, a bit dizzy,
Yep, that
a
can
bit,
happen with all those side effects and those kinds of things.
yeah, yeah.
So, were your parents pretty healthy when you were born, do you feel like, or do you feel like you inherited some of that from your parents initially, do you think?
Yeah, I inherited. I don't believe in that anybody inherits anything. I don't believe in this kind of heritage, because of everything what I went through, how I healed myself, of everything I got divine knowledge how to really heal whatever disease exists. And disease for me, it's actually a symptom of um, unbalanced energies that are flowing through the body.
Yeah, can see that. So I know that, part of your credentials is, you're some kind of a doctor. So did you go to school to be like a naturopathic doctor? Is that what you studied, or what did you study?
No. I wanted at age of since age of 3. I remember myself how I was playing at home, like being a doctor, with dolls and teddy bears and everything. But because at age of 6 I was um, labeled as a child with special needs, uh, and was somehow prevented to go to normal school, so I couldn't um, sign into medical school afterwards. But my passion, for being for helping people was immense. So at the age of 18, I started to study many of natural healing modalities. And my doctoral degree is from uh, no, I don't remember how to say in English. I will remember. I will remember. So it's the science that uh, searches how a person behaves, uh,
So like
how the
behavioral science. So you have like a PhD in
no, it was
behavioral
not
science?
behavior.
Not
Yeah,
really?
it was no anthropology. Anthropology.
Anthropology. Oh, PhD in anthropology.
Anthropology.
Okay.
Yes,
Uh-huh.
anthropology. Yes, yes,
Got it.
yes, yes.
Okay.
So
Interesting. Yeah.
yeah, this is my official title.
Mhm.
But when I started to study, I started to study also uh, um, traditional Chinese medicine, Ayurveda, energy medicine, phytotherapy, um, uh, and plenty of psychology subjects like
Great.
NLP,
Hmm.
neuro linguistic programming. Probably somebody knows rhetoric, because oh my God, I in my in my childhood I almost couldn't speak.
Wow.
Yeah, so that was also one of the reasons why I was labeled as a child with special needs,
Wow. Yeah, that's
because I was
interesting.
so
So,
silent, introvert, and everything.
yeah.
What you want to want,
Well,
what you want.
so today I noticed you have your own institute, if you will, that you help people with healing through all these different modalities. So I'm assuming you do a combination of things like the acupuncture, the energy healing, the frequencies, all these Ayurveda, all these different things that you have used. Is there one method in particular that you feel like is more helpful specifically for people with autoimmune conditions, or is it kind of just a combination of all?
Yeah, for me it's just combination, because a person, each one of us, um, it's not just body, it's not just emotions, just mind, just energy, just spirit, all 5 of levels at once.
Mm-hmm.
So if you treat, for example, just with food, or with liquids that you drink, or with supplements, then you treat only physical level.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So what I combine, with all this my knowledge also about psychology and spirituality, I combine everything together, and each of my approach to a person is individual. So whatever person needs.
Yep.
And in my clinic, there are plenty of people who heal themselves from fibromyalgia, from muscle dystrophy, from different allergies, um, from rheumatoid
Rheumatoid arthritis.
arthritis, plenty, plenty,
Yeah, I'm sure
but
that's
also
awesome.
cancer, and also cancer.
Yeah, so let's talk about the whole cancer thing there. So I know you said part of your journey was you had a pretty aggressive cancer that you healed yourself from. Why would you say that cancer is considered autoimmune? Because a lot of people are thinking, what? Cancer's not an autoimmune condition. So why would you and how would you say that they're related?
Cancer is metabolic disease. So cells stop to metabolize ingredients, food, what they receive, and they stop to metabolize um, everything correctly to divide themselves.
Hmm.
So that's why cancer is autoimmune disease.
Okay.
Because it goes to metabolic level, but that's not just metabolic level on the physical level.
Hmm.
It's metabolic level of emotions. So how the person metabolizes emotions, because if a person cannot metabolize emotions in a healthy way, then cells start to transform their function and start to function in a different way. So accommodate the energies and the food that they receive to reproduce themselves. And
Yeah.
it's also how person metabolizes uh, mind, so thoughts, how metabolizes energies that flow through a person, and how much a person is connected to his or her spirit. So if I look all these autoimmune diseases that you said, like they are labeled like autoimmune diseases, and the cancer is supposed not to be labeled. What I figured out from also I also had autoimmune disease called neurodermatitis.
Hmm.
So it was not possible to heal, no matter how many much amount of corticosteroids I have put on my skin. It appeared again and again and again and again.
Hmm.
And what is similar to all these autoimmune diseases, which I include also cancer in this category, is inability to metabolize things on different levels.
Hmm.
So with my clients, when we dig inside what is going on inside the human being, inside this individual, we encounter mm, emotions, thoughts, like limiting beliefs, limiting values, limiting identities that prevent person to heal. For example, one of the very um, very important, very high ranked limiting belief is if you identify with the disease. But
Yep.
because disease is only symptom for dysregulated energies that flow through a person.
Yep. Yeah, that's a good
So that,
point. I always tell people, and I've had a lot of guests say too, that the autoimmune disease may be a condition, it may be a label you have right now, but that doesn't mean you have to have it forever. And so you want to
exactly,
patch yourself from thinking that you can't get rid of it, because as soon as you hatch so hardly onto it that it becomes part of your identity, or you think you can't get rid of it, then you're already mentally telling yourself that you're not going to heal. So
exactly. This is the first thing to differentiate, that you are not the symptom.
yep, you're not the
Yeah,
disease that you've been slapped with, or your condition, or whatever. Yeah.
exactly. For example, they said, they say, I'm muscle dystrophic, dystrophic, or
Yeah, muscle dystrophic, or yeah.
yeah, muscle dystrophic. No. First thing, or I'm a person, um, not who has, but for the spinal diseased person. So this is identity.
Mhm.
For thyroid, for example, many um, many women I helped with autoimmune diseases with thyroid.
Yep,
The
thyroid. Yeah.
thyroid is working well, too little or too much. But everything comes back to all the 5 fundamentals. So first, of course, what the person eats, what drinks, and in what environments is a person, and what supplements it's, if any, what um, um, herbs a person takes. So this
Yep.
is all on this level.
hmm
And then we research what is going on the um, on the emotional level and mind level. And usually, for example, with thyroid, person does everything what other says,
hmm
and not enough for themselves. They don't know actually who they are.
Yeah.
This is very common, but of course there are always variations. So I don't do like this person comes and I, oh, okay, you go, you take these pills and you start to think this way. No, this doesn't work, because
Yeah.
we need to dig on what level came to distortion of this energy flow, because energy flow is connected with way of thinking and
Yeah.
way of um, emotional flow.
hmm
What emotions are connected with certain energy flow. So when we uh, change emotion, energy flow, then we have greater opportunity, possibility to change also our mind and emotions.
Yep, for sure. Yeah, I can definitely see that. Yeah, and I've experienced that myself. Have tons of other people, that we've talked to that have experienced the same kind of thing. So yeah, it has to be, like you said, all those different things. So if somebody is listening to this and they're currently feeling a little overwhelmed, maybe they've just gotten their diagnosis barely, or they feel like they're experiencing a lot of symptoms, they're not doing all that well, that kind of thing. What would be the first thing that you would say that somebody should do? Because obviously there's going to be several different things they're going to need to do. But what's that first thing that you recommend someone does?
First, I suggest that the person finds some laughter yoga mm, workshop or membership, and start to laugh.
That's good.
Start
I
to
love that.
yes, start to laugh at everything. For example, I had one client last week. She called. She had quite severe. No, actually, she was diagnosed with the cancer, and then she was completely overwhelmed with everything. And then I said, "Okay, why you are overwhelmed? You don't know what degree. You don't know if there are metastases. You don't know what
What your
y-
different
y-
options are for treating. You
yeah,
don't
yeah.
know what your future
No,
is going to be. You don't know
no,
all
I
these
I
different
don't
things.
know. I didn't even enter into
Yeah.
this because I what I see in with autoimmune diseases that actually allopathic medicine does not have a clue what to do, but just um, is it fire out, but or calm down the fire inside. So this is everything what they do. What I do is looking where is the origin of the fire and remove the fire, and everything else starts to calm down.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I said, you don't know everything. You don't know the degree. You don't know how aggressive it is. You don't know if there are metastases. Uh, you don't know anything. And you panic already.
Mm-hmm.
Now it's time to find on internet or wherever some laughter yoga class and laugh as much as possible every day for, I don't know, 1 2 3 4 5 hours laugh. And usually people say, oh, I don't have anything to laugh for. No, you need there is one very famous saying of Milton Erickson. He was one of the best psychologists, hypnotherapists from the last century. He said, fake it until you make it.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
The laughter needs to come from inside out, not from outside in, because people are too stressed about everything. They forgot to laugh. And there was one study made after the Second World War and after 40 years, and they tested how much per day adults and children laughed, and compared to after 40 years. After the Second World War, uh, adults laughed about 2 hours per day and children about 6 hours. And now, after 40 years, no, now it's already more, but after 40 years, all adults laughed only about 15 minutes and children laughed about 1 hour. Can you? I, and it was really hard experience, Second World War, and
Mm-hmm.
they laughed a lot. So laughter helps the person to unwind everything what is going on inside.
I love that. I've heard, sure, you've probably heard the statement that laughter is the best medicine, and I don't know who said that, but
Yeah,
that's a
in in
statement that's out there. That yeah.
in Slovenia we say that laughter is half of the healing, because the
Oh,
other half, yes, what I see with my clients and with myself is actually healing. So healing of emotions, of thoughts, of energy, of spirit, of the body. So we need to heal this as well. But laughter, start laugh. When I was diagnosed with cancer, um, it was really so funny situation. I went on this mammography. Is it called like mammogram?
mammogram. Yeah, mammogram and
Yeah,
mammography.
yeah.
Yeah.
And the medical doctor said with this really sad face expression and with words, uh, Miss. Zupan, you have a cancer. And I said, oh, yes, great. Now I know what to work on. now it's proved, and we go for it, go for healing. And the medical doctor was so in shock
I
that
bet.
yeah, that her mouth stayed open, her jaw opened, and her eyeballs almost fell out, for what I said. And I had really, really um, good, all the time, good relationship with all medical doctors, because for examinations I always went there, but I didn't accept chemotherapy. I rejected hormonal therapy, and I rejected um, um, radiation, although um, medical doctors, oncologists said to me that without their help, I have only 5% chance to survive. But I saw all my female ancestors, they all accepted this approach,
Hmm.
and they all passed away. I was watching mother. This was, that was horrible experience. And my aunts and my grandmother. And I said, no, 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 this way, this is not for me. This is not for me. I didn't know whether I will survive or not, but I laughed a lot. So my goal at that time was not, this is also very important. My goal was not that I get healthy, but as long as I live, I laugh every day, I sing every day, and I dance every day.
That's awesome. I love that.
Yeah, so all these three components were crucial in my healing, really crucial. So dance, laugh, sing. Usually people also have this, I don't know, strange beliefs. I cannot sing. And no, if you have autoimmune disease, now it's time to start singing to overcome these limiting beliefs, because uh, all children know to sing. Everyone.
True. Yeah, and some
Yeah,
people are more talented in that area, and just because maybe singing isn't your gift doesn't mean you can't sing at all, you know.
exactly, exactly, exactly. Yeah, that's good. Yeah, yeah.
That's awesome. Okay, well, I think this is a great note to almost end on. So tell us where people can connect with you. I noticed from visiting your website, which we'll link below, that you have a new online course. So if people are interested enough and intrigued, they can reach out and talk to you virtually, since, you're coming to us from, I think it's Slovenia, right? Is what you said? Yeah. So, and most of
Yeah.
the audience is in the US and Canada, or some are in, like the UK and Australia. So, coming there in person's not really going to work, but they can still reach out to you and get some more information on your online course, right?
Yeah. Um, for the person who really wants to heal him herself, this distance is not a problem. I
Yep.
have one client, very happily cured client from Australia, who was diagnosed with no, she had Lyme disease. It was long Lyme disease. So medical doctors also said, no, this is not Lyme disease, because um, they don't have these small animals. I don't know how it is
Well, the
called.
ticks, yeah, that's a whole
Pigs, yeah,
other rabbit
yeah,
hole in of itself. We've had several guests with Lyme disease that got autoimmune
yeah.
after they got a Lyme infection.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's,
so the
yeah,
medical system in Australia, they said to them, to her, that no, 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 this is not Lyme disease, but everything what she did was Lyme disease. And
yeah.
she was already at age, she was, I think, 33, 34, something like this. She was already um, on no, state support,
Whoa, life in,
and
yeah,
she was given just few months to live, and she
well,
got somewhere information about me. She flew directly to me, and 3 weeks afterwards, no, she was not healed, but she
she wasn't
was
on
on the way.
hospice anymore. Yeah,
No, she was on the way of her healing. So in 1 year she was healthy, And because we worked also afterwards on long distance,
Yeah.
on through the internet. We have now a lot of possibilities. It's Zoom, it's you have Meets or Google, so many possibilities. So we worked there out, and now she has happy family, and she's married. She has daughter, healthy daughter, everything. But allopathic medicine said a few months to go. She
Yeah.
heard, and no distance prevented her to come for healing. So
Yeah.
distance is not a problem,
Yeah. And this is the
I,
other.
I
It's
yeah,
another lesson to be learned too. That if you really want to heal yourself, you can
exactly,
find that motivation and you can do it. And
exactly,
yeah.
exactly. I have clients from Finland, from Australia, from Egypt, also from Germany, also from USA, from Brazil. So no problem.
Awesome. That's great. Okay. Well, we'll link your website below, and we'll link anything else that you want to share with people so that they can get in touch with you.
Yeah,
Something.
they can get my book, my ebook.
Oh,
Download
okay.
my
Awesome.
ebook. Yeah, I have ebook, and in this book I share my 7 most important morning steps. So my morning routine, most important morning routine. This is like initiation of into each single day. So they can get this very special ebook through high frequency energy formula.com.
Awesome. Okay, we will link that below too. And thanks so much, Dr. Neha, for coming on and sharing with us. And yeah, so if this has been at all interesting to you, make sure you go ahead, grab the ebook, and connect with her and see how she can help you out.
Thank you. Have really a lot of success with laughter, with having a good time, and all the rest will follow.